far the Trump administration may go in military actions against alleged drug traffickers. The administration is sending the largest aircraft carrier to the waters off South America, dramatically escalating its military presence. This after the U.S. destroyed a 10th suspected drug boat on Friday. Democrats are firing back over the administration, saying it is targeting narco terrorists without providing any evidence.
Regardless of how you feel about Venezuela or Colombia or cocaine or fentanyl or drugs or anything, you shouldn't support the president of the United States saying, screw you, I'm president. I can kill who I want to kill, and you all just have to live with it. There's no fentanyl coming out of Venezuela. Yeah, we don't know exactly who or what has been on these boats, but I'll tell you, one thing we know 100%, there has been no fentanyl involved in any of this.
Joining me now is California Congresswoman and our friend, Sydney Kamlager-Dove. She is a member of the Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committee. So welcome to you. President Trump suggested that he's planning a ground operation, saying, quote, we're going to stop them by land in Venezuela. He publicly authorized the CIA to launch covert operations there. I mean, shocker just thinking about that alone, with some speculation that he intends to topple President Nicolas Maduro. How do you respond to the escalation of military actions without authorization from Congress?
Yeah, the other thing the president said is, hey, I think we're just going to go and kill people. That should be incredibly frightening to anyone who cares about democracy. We are seeing a rogue administration bypassing Congress once again with an incredibly silent Republican Congress while he is escalating war. This should be coming before Congress. We have seen no evidence. There have been no oversight hearings. We don't really know who has been on these boats. We don't even really know who they are killing, and we're getting no verifiable evidence coming from the White House. Congress is the only one that has the authority to declare war, but Donald Trump is once again running roughshod over not just the Constitution, but the legislative branch that is Congress.
Yeah, but remember, the Supreme Court gave him authorization to do all that. Okay, let's move to the war in Ukraine. Just days after canceling a planned summit with Vladimir Putin, President Trump slapped significant economic sanctions on Russia. But this was after another chaotic White House meeting where Trump told Volodymyr Zelensky he should just accept Russia's terms for ending the war and denied giving Ukraine any long-range Tomahawk missiles. So what do you make of Trump finally taking a decisive step against Russia? And will sanctions be effective, and will they last?
Well, we will see how decisive this decision is. Nice, applause that he's decided to put sanctions on Russia, but it's really too little too late. They've been dancing for 9 months, and I have to say we've gotten nothing out of Putin. He has not been able to bring Putin to the negotiating table. And I also have to say that Russia has been attacking Ukraine at a higher rate than at any time since before this president was president. So we should be really concerned about that. I think that the rest of the world, including folks here in America, are waiting for Donald Trump to step up and stop allowing Putin to use him as a doormat.
Okay, what about what happened Friday when the administration said it is not going to use emergency funds for SNAP benefits during the government shutdown? At least 25 states are going to cut off crucial food assistance for more than 40 million people next Saturday, November 1. That includes 4.5 million in California, your state. What are your concerns about how this is going to impact your constituents, and how much will this increase pressure on Democrats to end the shutdown?
Yeah, I've been talking with local electeds here who are having heartburn as they're trying to figure out a way to protect moms and little babies who are going to be cut off from SNAP benefits. Over 50,000 households just in my district alone rely on CalFresh, which is the California version of SNAP. And we also know that this president is once again just punishing the American people, because really he is obligated to use emergency funding to make sure that SNAP benefits are paid through November. Why he's decided to forsake the American people while he is, spending almost $350 million building a ballroom to himself is really, really a distortion of values coming out of this White House.
Well, early voting, as you know, it begins today in California with the proposal to redraw the state's congressional districts on the ballot. Friday, the Justice Department said it's going to monitor polling stations in 5 major counties in California and another one in New Jersey ahead of Election Day. And it comes after Republican committees in those states expressed concerns about transparency and ballot security. Is this just a pretty clear attempt to disrupt and suppress voting at polling stations?
Well, I think the other thing that they're reading, Alex, are the exit polling that's coming out that's saying the majority of Californians are voting yes on Prop 50, which is our response, our defense to the unlawfulness that happened in Texas with the snatching of seats and the suppression of votes. So this is a DOJ and a president who once again are going to lose in the state of California, and they're sending out these goons to intimidate voters. You know, while we are still recovering from ICE raids and ICE agents actually, you know, shooting into communities and hitting U.S. Marshals, right? Having the military shoot artillery over the I-5 and endanger CHP officers. Now they're going to send DOJ folks here to try to silence folks from voting on Prop 50. This president is just afraid of democracy and accountability and the American people.
You know, you mentioned that military exercise at Camp Pendleton. That was stunning. They didn't even tell the public it was happening. All they knew was a shutdown of I-5 in that southern part of the state near San Diego. One more question here, because on Thursday, President Trump called off the deployment of federal agents to San Francisco. It was at the urging of Salesforce Chief Executive Mark Benioff and Nvidia. I never know how to say that name. You can correct Nvidia. There we go. Yeah, my EP just set up my ear. Anyway, President Jensen Huang, who said San Francisco's mayor is making substantial progress against crime. What do you make of Trump calling off the operation at the request of his billionaire friends? I mean, look, this may spare San Francisco, but are you concerned the focus then turns to other parts of perhaps the Bay Area?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that he's only listening to his billionaire boys rather than the American people. Alex, I just came back from Chicago. There was a hearing on ICE raids that are happening there. And what people forget or maybe don't realize is the economic burden that this is resting on folks in these cities across this country. For example, in Chicago, and I know you asked about San Francisco, but the second largest revenue generating corridor in the city has lost revenue up to 40% because of these raids. You have women who are no longer even going to the clinics to get their breast health screenings. They had 0 women patients coming to the clinic because of these ICE raids. So that's what the mayor was concerned about in San Francisco. Thankfully, he had some friends who have a lot of money who can call Donald Trump, but